YouTube. It's going to get there in a moment. Okay, that should be, we should be going there. If you want to check YouTube, or it should be a little bit easier for you to join us if you're out and about and you want to. We'll see if it works. It will live stream it to YouTube. And we also want to make sure we get recorded here. Okay, a warm welcome to everyone, and thank you so much for being part of our Genius Biofeedback community, and a very, very happy new year. The Genius can be an integral part of you planning for your new year, whether you're planning for your practice, you want to grow your income, if you want to clear your home, you want to start your Genius Biofeedback practice, you want to, whatever it is, the sky's the limit, write it down and then utilize the Genius in the ways that we've taught here and will continue to teach in order to make that a reality. Everything is frequency, and we're going to learn a lot more about frequency, energy fields, the biofield. This year, we're going to have more classes on energy medicine so that you can really understand the underpinnings of why the Genius would work, why it would work long distance, and all of those good things. We're also going to have courses on hormones and things that make you sick and so forth. And today we're going to be in our weekly class here talking about the immune system. So we're going to get some documents, some links for you in just a moment, and we'll take your questions. So Adina, thank you. Good morning. Lorraine, thank you for being here. Kata, thank you so much for being here. And please go ahead and put your date of birth if you'd like to join us today for a scan. We will set up the scan in just a few moments. My name is Ariel Policano. I'm a naturopathic doctor. I've been teaching and training about the Genius since 2013. It's my great pleasure to be with you as we continue to grow and expand so many new programs. And we're going to be having a new version of the Genius, an update from the developer coming very, very soon. And when that comes out, we'll teach you all about the updates and what it means, what you can do with the updates. It's going to only improve what you're doing. So just know that it will improve everything that you're doing. It will make it better. So let's see if we can go to, we're in the chat here to, you can send this to everyone. And I know we have some links here. We're getting quite a bit of rain in Portland, so sending you lots of fertile, wonderful green energy your way. So let's go ahead and see if we can link this down in the chat. So there we go. There is an immune support process for you. And we also have something that goes with the cold and flu libraries, which is this. And this, let's just say it could be translated to anything, wink, wink, nod, nod. So if you do the cold and flu process, if you want to get your Genius out, and what I'll ask is that for anyone who would like to volunteer to everyone, everyone can talk now in the chat, so you can share your hellos, your greetings with everyone. And if you do want to volunteer today, we are going to ask maybe if you want to open up your camera, show your video, and we can actually take a picture of you. So see if that's something you would be interested in doing. We're going to answer all of your questions. So Libby asked a question here. And she said, can I see the replays of these sessions? They're actually going live to YouTube right now. That means on my YouTube channel at Ariel Policano on YouTube, you can watch this right after it's streamed live, or even you could watch it live now. And we'll also post it on the blog. So if you go to geniusbiofeedback.com, there's an education link. And when you click on the education link, you can see several of our different offerings here that are free, like our Genius mini course. We have a lot of videos. And specifically on the blog, you can go to the blog and see that. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to get the Genius up here. We're going to use a piece of technology called a reflector, and we're going to broadcast it with the rest of the screen. So if you didn't want to do that, you could actually use the native plugin on something like Zoom, and you could just have your broadcast by a plugin, a native plugin on Zoom. So anyone could do this. Anyone could broadcast the Genius on a meeting. It allows you in that way to do your Genius work remotely. And then if you want to, you could send those frequencies to your client in the Quanta capsule. So also upcoming, we'll have more tutorials and classes, live classes and opportunities to better master the Quanta capsule, as well as the remedy plate, and help you continue to build your skills as a practitioner. All right, let's go ahead and do some magic here. Let's go ahead and fill in the screen. So once again, if you find your video and you want to get ready to join us by video feed, you're welcome to do that. Let's go ahead and make some adjustments here. So we do have our immune system process to share with you. We'll do our best to make this kind of work. And let's go ahead and see if we can talk with one of the volunteers. So thank you for volunteering. If you're listening on the phone, welcome. Let's see if we can find our volunteer. Someone wants to volunteer today. Adina, where are you joining us from? Just not finding you there in the, not finding you there. Maybe we'll have a couple more people who volunteer. Oh, there she is. Okay. So Adina, there you are. Okay. Hi, Adina. How are you?
I'm blessing yourself.
Great. Okay, we're going to promote you here to a panelist and see if we can have you join us. And okay, so I'm going to switch you around here. And if you want to join us so we can take your picture. What's happening here?
Yes.
See if you can.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. See if you can turn on your video camera. And thanks everyone for, bearing with us while this is obviously a new way that we're doing this. See if you can open up your own camera there, and we'll just keep trying to.
Okay, aquí voy. La cámara. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Can you? I just get into my office.
Can't open it. Okay. Well, that's okay. We're going to put your information up here. We're just going to put your last name, and then we'll put the gender, and remind me of, I see the date of birth right here. So we're going to go ahead and pull up the date of birth, how you would do any type of session for someone. We would put the date of birth. The date of birth has a particular frequency, as well as everything has frequency. This actually is part of the algorithm that we utilize, although the things that are in here, like how they are, that's more for your record keeping. So let's go right to, if we can't get the video feed, and I'll have to check the settings, let's go ahead and get your voice. So Adina, are you ready to have me record your voice?
Yes.
So let's go ahead and record it in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
Adina Perales Magallón. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. Bendición, focus, concentration.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, and we got you actually on camera here, which I love. So I guess as one of our really seasoned practitioners, why don't we tell us a little bit about how you're doing? How are things going for you?
I'm really excited because of biofeedback. I was able to open my practice, give me a 360 degree around, because I'm a holistic health practitioner and just finished my master. I'm on my way to my PhD, and I was scared to try to do something, and thanks God I was able to, what I believe, what I was being studying, putting together, and Genius opened me that opportunity.
Fantastic. I love it. Adina, you're one of our really beloved practitioners, and we appreciate you so, so much. So let's go ahead and get a quick, lovely picture of you. Can you tell us about any of your recent clients that you've been working with?
Right now, I have my mother-in-law. She was diagnosed with dementia and Parkinson. Bye, papito. Sorry, my husband is here.
We welcome husbands.
He just left. She was diagnosed with Parkinson and dementia, and she's having so much pain, so much trouble. And I asked her, some of the family members do not have an open mind. And especially because she's not my mom. You know, my mom jump, I say, Mommy, try this, and my mom do it. But she, every time she gets sick, I work with her, I detox, I massage her, and I do everything. And I asked her, Mama, can you give me permission to try this? And I was so honored that she says, please help me because I don't feel good. And I'm being trained her for about 2 months now. And I see her, she's more old fashioned. Like for me to put the system and stuff, my sister-in-law Rosalba helped me with that. But she comes 3 times a week with me.
Really?
And I love that.
This is your mother-in-law?
That's my mother-in-law. She comes 3 times a week with me. And
does she meet you on a Zoom, or does she come to see you in person?
She come to see me in person.
Wow.
And she has edema, horrible. She was like in space. I don't know how you say it in English. Like she was put her head down, and sometimes she was there, but she wasn't there. And working and with her, doing, because all her body hurt at the same time. I've been working with simple emotion, pain. I was been getting a lot of stuff specifically for her. And I'm so blessed because she's moving, she's more active, she's happy, she's talking. And for me, it's like, you know, what I do for my mother, I would do it for her. You know, she's been an amazing person in my life. And this biofeedback has been amazing because now she's asking me, like before she don't do affirmation. And I've been teaching her about affirmation. Mama, do this. Mira, you can ask for this. You can say, I'm blessed. I'm healed. What do you want? You know, like, and she crying, telling me like, I want to be healed. I want to feel good. And see her, she's moving and she's driving. You know, for me, it's like amazing.
That's
Amazing.
Wonderful. Adina, you're wonderful. And we appreciate you as being one of our practitioners, one of our very talented practitioners who participates in the summits, and just appreciate you so much. And it's always wonderful to hear of your success with your family and with your clients, giving them hope and inspiration. So thank you so, so much.
Gracias.
We're going to do a little immune support boost for you. Would that be okay?
Oh, that is perfect because I have 5 grandbabies and they passing me the cold.
You have 5 grandbabies. That's amazing. Okay, we're going to protect you, the healer, so that you can help to heal everyone else and give you a little boost today. Thank you so much, Adina. I appreciate it.
Gracias.
Wonderful. So nice to have you. So I like that we have the ability here to, I love that we have the ability to do the video feed now, so we can welcome you on by video feed. So remember to dress appropriately and be ready for that if we ask you to join us by camera feed. And we're also live streaming to YouTube. So thank you everyone who's joining us from YouTube. We can't read the comments in YouTube just yet. We hope to integrate that as well. But thank you so much for joining us. And thank you everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you. I'm so glad that people got the link, so they were able to be here. The link is right on the front page at geniusbiofeedback.com. So what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about this immune support process. So here is a process. What you could do is you could add all of these items that comprise frequencies for the immune system. You are an energetic director, and with the Genius, you're able to direct the energy in so many different ways. So we've named on the system overview all of the ways that you could support the immune system within the main part of the Genius. Of course, we have many other libraries like cold flu, immune resilience, healing hidden infections, all of these wonderful libraries that you can also incorporate. The inflammation libraries are another one that you could incorporate, keep in your wheelhouse as you're going through the January, February, March season. There's so many things that you can do. Remember to incorporate emotions into what you're doing. That also is very important because every illness is coupled with some emotional issue that people are dealing with, often complex ones. There are absolutely some handouts, and what we did is we put that into the chat. So everybody, if you back up into the chat, you should be able to see that. Here it is again. This is the cold flu, and we'll see if we can get the other one. to come up. And we haven't totally mastered everything that we're doing here, so bear with me. If not, we'll link it in the, hopefully you can see it. You can let me know. Can everybody see what I've actually put on the screen here? So we've got the screen so you can see the link for the immune support process and okay. And the link, yeah, so go up into the chat and you can see, I was just able to relink the cold flu. Now you can see the immune support process. The thing with this immune support process, the way that it reads, you could put it into a custom playlist. So we'll look a little bit at that. And that would be something that you could play each and every time that you had somebody come in. If you just wanted to play the immune support, or it's something that you could play for yourself. While we're here on our weekly training, we're here every single week. For those of you who are affiliates, you can invite your affiliate to come here and see what we're doing. For those of you who've had the Genius for a long time, you're welcome to come here. If you're new to the Genius, thank you. I warmly welcome you to our Genius community. We're here every single week, so you can come and ask your questions. We offer lots of free training, some paid trainings, and more complex and advanced topics for practitioners. So let's talk a little bit about this. If you go into today's stress, you can see lots of elements that could potentially harmonize the immune system, give energy to the immune system. We want to be careful about how we talk about biofeedback. What we're doing is we're moving energy. In that way, we're similar to a Reiki practitioner. They're moving energy. We're moving energy in a more precise and structured way with the frequencies of the Genius. Every frequency in the Genius will only bring about good, because every frequency in the Genius would be a positive influence for that person. The reason we look for reds and blues is because we're looking for the best frequencies for that person for this moment in time. The ones that are red and blue for whatever you're testing are the ones that are saying, hey, pick me, pick me. These are the frequencies that that person's energy field most needs. But you can be an energetic director where you can choose frequencies that are not necessarily red or blue, but you know will have a positive impact, that you know will lead to a positive impact for that person. So that's where we're going with that. So let's keep the energy flowing here, keep the energy going. And we will go ahead and work on the next one. Okay, so thank you, Vicky, for relinking into the chat. And everybody can see the chat, so you can chat with each other, connect with people. We'll also link our main Facebook group. The Facebook group where we have the discussions, the biofeedback community discussions is a great place for you to also ask your questions. I answer questions in there as well as others answer questions as well. So lymphatic comes up for her, and lymphatic is part of the immune system, and it's in the immune system tonic. So we're definitely going to place it down into the main whole tray. And let's make sure that we've got this so it makes sense here. And we did want to just mention her aura. Her aura looked really beautiful, really strong and vibrant. There's a lot of healing energy. There's a lot of really open heart energy that you can see in this emerald green color. There is a little bit of dustiness or grayness. So this could be, I'm tired. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I didn't sleep as well as I could. We'd want to see that clear out of the field over the time that we're doing the session. Your aura is just a beginning. It's just to show where the person is in a moment in time and how they change as we go through the different frequencies. So we don't have to do an extensive analysis of the aura, but overall it looks good. It looks strong, and it just looks like you could use a little bit of TLC, some tuning up here. So we also see when we go to today's stress, which is a great overall view of what's going on for the person today. You never need to make any type of medical claims or diagnosis. You're just explaining to them the patterns of their biofield, the patterns of their energy field. This gives them new information and awareness to make new changes, and also let you know which frequencies you can run for the person today. So as we see emotional, we can also include, it means that there's something in the emotional realm that's active for her today. Maybe, she's, irritable, or maybe she's really super happy, or maybe she's sad. And all of those could be just below the surface, but we want to balance out the emotions. Connective tissue will include it because it's above 600. And when we consider it because connective tissue could be someplace that we put toxins, or we actually store emotions, so we can include it. It also says on the tonic process that we should include the liver. So let's see where the liver is. So the liver on here is 559. Technically, it's balanced, but the liver is part of how you process toxins, and it is a part actually of your immune system as a whole. So we're going to include it. There's immune cells within the liver called the Kupffer cells. So we'll go ahead and include it. And the inflammation. So the inflammation is the response from the immune system. So we always want the inflammatory response to be balanced, not too strong, not too weak. We don't want autoimmune, but we also want a resilient inflammatory response. For example, when you get an infection, if you get a fever, why do you get a fever? You get a fever because the bacteria disrupts the bacteria causes such a disruption in the system that you actually it changes your response of your hypothalamus, and it causes you to get the body much hotter than it usually is. Why? Because at that degree, you will burn up the particular pathogen. So you want to let a fever run its course. What we've been taught over time is the first thing you want to do is suppress a fever with your aspirin, your ibuprofen, your Tylenol. No, if you can let the fever run to a certain degree, it will allow you not only to burn up that particular pathogen, but maybe other pathogens that have been sort of hanging around that have been causing the subclinical fatigue. Did you ever have a fever or get sick and then feel better after you pass through that particular illness? And you notice, wow, I feel so much better than even before I was sick. So that is part of what's happening. If we take aspirin, ibuprofen, Tylenol, we over time, especially if we're younger, we tend to suppress our inflammatory response. So you could include inflammation as a way to balance it, not too weak, not too strong. So that tells us what to utilize from today's stress. Additionally, we see fungus. This is often because our digestive fire is not strong enough. We see some heavy metal toxicity, and of course, we didn't include it, but we should include the immune system itself and the adrenals. When our adrenal function is not as strong as it could be, then often our immune system is not as strong as it could be. So then we'll go to body system. So you see, it's very, very easy. You're combining the results of the genius and the elements that would comprise immune support. So now we go to body system. So this is a way to you're making an energetic recipe. You're putting frequencies together to bring about a certain effect. As such, it's your skill set to think rationally or cognitively about what frequencies would make sense to include to get the result that we want. Okay, it's as easy as that. It's common sense, and you can do no wrong. The genius works in partnership with your own innate intelligence. When it works in partnership with your own innate intelligence, whatever frequencies you run in that tray, the person will take what they like and they will leave the rest. So this tells us that there's not too much coming up in the red and blue area, but we could still select items that are above 600 or below 200. Here it tells us to use the digestive frequency. Digestion. All illness starts in the gut. If we can work on the digestive system for every person that we work with, we will see some improvement inevitably. Almost everyone needs to work on their digestive system, and 60% of your immune system is in the small intestine, in the digestive system. We've got the Peyer's patches in there. So work on cleaning up and tonifying and helping to support the digestive system in order to support the immune system. Then we've also got the respiratory system. Of course, when you see it over 600 at 688, that lets you know maybe it's being affected, challenged. Maybe there's some dust. Maybe there is something that she's picking up from the grandkids, right? So we definitely want to support that in any way. It could be added in here for the immune tonic if you wanted to. What specific frequencies might we use for enhanced digestive fire? That's a great question from Lisa. And Lisa, check out under S in your libraries, because I know you got that full package, is stomach acid activation. That's a great one. So check out stomach acid activation and run those frequencies, and we'll run the libraries to take a look at that. So then we're going to go to glands in just a moment. We're going to let this scan go through. And keep your questions coming. These are great questions. We're going to work on the thymus. The thymus helps you to produce B cells. It's an important part of your immune system, one that we believe atrophies in some ways as we grow older. So bring it alive. Bring your thymus alive and look for the thymus under the gland section. Let's see what else is going on in that gland section. So we see the thymus at 502. It is balanced for today for her, but we're going to bring it in with intention to make it even better. The pineal. So sleep is very much related to how strong your immune system is. Let's harmonize the pineal so it optimizes the release of melatonin and helps that person get into a deep and restful state of sleep. So that's the next one. There's not much else that's coming up here. Parathyroid is something we don't talk about too often. If your parathyroid levels were too high, it would pull calcium from the bone density. So this might be telling us that might be actively happening. When we see something that's blue, we don't know if it's too high or too low. The Genius does not report that. It simply tells us which frequencies would be beneficial to put into the tray today. Okay, the next one is vitamins. Vitamins is obvious, right? You think of vitamin C for your immune system every single time, right? So we also think about vitamin D. Why do people not get colds normally, this issue that we have today notwithstanding? For the most part, over the whole history of time, most people have gotten sick in the wintertime. They're healthy in the summertime. What's the difference? Vitamin D. So vitamin D is something we definitely want to support both in the real world and energetically anytime we can, especially if you live at a higher latitude, okay? We're up here in the Portland area, very high latitude, very hard to get sufficient amounts of vitamin D. And most people aren't outside often enough. So you may want to look into supplementing some vitamin D. We also see, or you could just run it energetically with your Genius, vitamin C and vitamin A. So we want to incorporate all of them. Vitamin K, interestingly enough, with regard to the parathyroid, vitamin K helps you to lay down calcium. And we can get vitamin K from green leafy vegetables. Niacin is very, very good for liver detoxification. So you could run the frequency, you could do a detox. I'm not a huge supplement pusher because some of them are synthetic, but you could get yeast, you get nutritional yeast and get a good B complex from nutritional yeast. In fact, some people get nutritional yeast and then they flush a little bit, and that's because there are B vitamins in there and the niacin can make people flush. And that helps you to move the toxins out. The next one is minerals. I hope you're following along and doing this on your Genius as well. We've got iron coming up here. So this is a tricky one that we should all be, again, I want to stress, this is one of the most common questions that I get every single day when we go through the different questions, emails that are coming from you, lovely people. Does this mean that my iron level is too low? Does it mean that my iron level is too high? The pure communication from the Genius of a red or a blue is that this is a frequency that is required or needed for today. That's the only thing. However, if you're a doctor, a health practitioner, if you're someone with some type of experience with this, you know, for me as a naturopath, for a woman who's menopausal, postmenopausal, it's not going to make too much sense that she's low iron unless she had fibroids or was bleeding right before she went into menopause. What is more common if somebody consumes meat and dairy as they get either for men or postmenopausal women is actually excess iron. So this is something to be aware of. For plant-based people, not as much. Very, very more common for men, but it can be some women postmenopausally. So this is more commonly to be too much than too little, but we don't know unless we go for a blood test and actually find out. The one thing that you do know is that this frequency is being requested today for some reason. Now, chlorine is interesting because that could be chlorine in the water. So we may want to get a filter, but it could also be related to hydrochloric acid in the stomach, and it may be telling us that that is also another sign that it's too low. So we've seen a couple of signs. Strontium is for the bone. So we've seen a couple of different hints about bone density today, which is fascinating. Zinc, important for the immune system. Silica for hair, skin, and nails. And boron, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, look at boron and chronic illness, boron, how it can help you, boron, how it can heal miraculously. Just go ahead and Google that and you'll be down the rabbit hole. Interesting about borax, boron. You can read more about that. Okay, herbs. So let's go to herbs, the herbs panel that can support different parts of your immune system. Specifically on the sheet, it says amla. It's going to be hard to find. Unfortunately, we need something that will do really an alphabetical on here. So I'm just going to do my best to go through this. Gynostemma is wonderful to get as a tea. It can balance hormones and it can balance the immune system. Let's just read the ones that we would find if we had tons of time. Amla is very high in vitamin C. You'll often find it in a Indian sort of a jam, right, which is called Chayawanaprash. Chayawanaprash, that's a mouthful. So if you want to support your immune system, that's another way you can use this type of Indian jam and have it in warm water in the morning. It's absolutely delicious. And bilberry is going to be rich in flavonoids, another way to say blueberry, but you can get it in an herb form, and this will help your immune system. Faux tea is the same as Ho Shu Wu. So it's wonderful for the adrenals and the immune system. And then turmeric also, as you know, great for the brain, great for the immune system, great for so many parts of the body. Then let's go ahead and let's just go down the list of what came up for her that would be relevant to the immune system. So Chinese licorice root, fantastic. We're also seeing some hints in this particular scan that she needs adrenal support. We saw the adrenals. We saw one other thing that is not coming to mind at the moment, but licorice root is important for cortisol in the morning. So we're seeing a sign, we're seeing patterns that tell us, yeah, her immune system, or her adrenal system could use a little bit of support. Borage is like a very classic postmenopausal herb. So borage gives you the precursor oils for making progesterone. Boneset, bearberry, astragalus. I'm going to kind of skip the ones that are not related to the immune system. Astragalus, very important for the adrenals and the immune system. Maitake, incredible immune support. Those medicinal mushrooms. Then we go down to the bottom here. Again, all of these are calling to her energy field. Because there are more of these, and just the way the system works, if there's more of them, then when we go through the different algorithm, more will be selected. Fewer items, fewer will be selected, just the way that the algorithm kind of looks at all the different data for any particular panel. So cordyceps, amazing for the energy in the body, amazing for the immune system. It works on the yang energy. We do see the faux tea, which we talked about, which is the Ho Shu Wu, good for the adrenals. So a lot of adrenal herbs coming up for her. Rhodiola, another adrenal herb. So this is a total adrenal makeover, a total adrenal support, which will support your immune system. If your adrenals are weak, your energy is low, your vital force is low, then you don't have the robust energy that you need to push, to have that resilience to push out that particular infection. So if you're going to work on this as protection, preventativeness, work on your adrenals, work on what we talked about for the immune system. The next one, essential oils. So many different ways to come out this just within the system overview. And then you can branch out from there. So when we go to essential oils, right, we have here oregano, geranium, frankincense, myrrh, all of those can be utilized. You can utilize tangerine. That's really great for liver cleansing. All of the firs, the spruces, those are the ones that have the triterpene elements to them. Very, very good for the immune system. Rosemary, another one that would probably give you immune support. All of the sort of marjoram, rosemary, oregano, they're going to be very good for the immune system. Juniper berry, good for the kidneys. Lemon balm, relaxation. Wild orange, also liver cleansing. So we can include those. And then flower essences, we're just going to test for the high or low items. So you're always going to include the flower essences. What you're utilizing or bringing to bear for someone is those emotional energies that they really need to heal, but also tell them where they are in their path. V says we can use bee pollen for B vitamins as well. Absolutely. Larch is for confidence. Honeysuckle, I always mix up honeysuckle and hornbeam. Honeysuckle is thinking about the past. Mimulus is overcoming fear. Sweet chestnut we'll look at. Mustard is clearing out a dark cloud that you're feeling overhead. A lot of us experiencing that. White chestnut is for clearing anxiety. We have a lot more of them memorized these days. Vine is for becoming more flexible. Chestnut bud is clearing out old patterns, like not making the same mistake over and over. We'll skip the emotions for now. We'll go right to the progressive insights and talk about that a little bit, as well as sort of the rescan aspect, which we haven't talked about in a while for progressive insights. So let's take a look at that. For some reason, I can see on my phone I can see the chat on my phone. It's not showing on my laptop. Could you please put the links again? I can only save them from here. Probably won't be able to give you the links right now, but I can tell you that we will add them to that YouTube live stream and we will add them to the blog. So we will definitely get them for you. That should be done within the next 24 hours. So Lisa, thanks for requesting it. We're doing our best. Hopefully you can see the immune support right up here. And if I get a chance as we're going through this, I will see if I can link it again. But we're a sort of new process here. Thank goodness we got this up and running for the 1st of January or first week in January. We're grateful for that. So bear with me as we get everything perfect for you. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look and see, we've got a lot of high items. My interest is always in the high items. We used to have to tap on each high item. We got a new function, which is actually right here. Usually we should be able to tap on the high items. I'm going to adjust the timer, which is up here, and I'm going to bring it down to 1 minute. And so what I've done here is I've tapped just the high items. That is because of the 80-20 rule. Anything you do in life, go ahead and make a list of everything you need to get accomplished in your life. And what you're going to find is out of that list, sort of 20% of the items on that list would give you 80% of the outcome that you want to accomplish. So if they look over fields, it's like 20% of the crops are the 80% really give you 80% of the yield that you want. It's called the Pareto's principle. And I want you to think about it with your cases, because we don't necessarily need to do each and every, we don't need to necessarily do each and every frequency that comes up for a person. That's sort of when we're first learning about the genius, we think we need to do everything. We don't want to miss anything. But when frequencies are run, that person has to assimilate them. They have to take them into their consciousness. It's encoded information that that person receives and affects their consciousness instantly if they're receptive to it. So let's be very choosy. Let's be selective. Let's use our wonderful wisdom and knowledge base to send the frequencies that are the most effective for that person. And the ones that once we get to progressive insight are the most effective are the ones that go to the tippy top in progressive insights. This is something that helps you to sort and sift through all of the information. It's one of the most valuable things about progressive insights. It's why we don't put everything into the quick zap. Everything in the quick zap is like, let's just throw it up into the quick zap. We deem this information to be all equally weighted. Whereas when it get into progressive insight, it sorts it for us into high, medium, and low prioritization. That gives us a tremendous advantage because now we're doing the very, very top priority items. What she most needs today is borage. That is, they say in menopause, they give borage for courage to go through that transition time in your life. It's a wonderful, filled with essential oils that help to produce progesterone. And it's a very, very wonderful herb oil to avail yourself to. And then it says the respiratory. So something about respiratory is very active in her field. Then it says rhodiola, going back to that adrenal issue. Adrenals are going to be your foundational support for good immune function. Vitamin C, immune function and adrenals. The adrenals in your body, the most concentration of vitamin C is in the adrenals. So vitamin C to support the adrenals, vitamin C to support the immune system. Vitamin A, immune system. Strontium, good for bone density. We saw that theme several times within this case. Heavy metal toxicity, wild orange, orange for the liver detox, juniper berry for the kidneys. So when I see this, the next place I may want to move with this client is into a 10-week detox program and maybe an adrenal support program, all energetic, all working on the biofield. Okay, thank you, Vicki, for linking that again for Lisa. That's real helpful. It's nice to have that chat so that anybody can go into the chat. We also have a Q&A section here. We'll try to read the questions. The info type is too small. I don't know what that means. Maybe let me know a little bit more about that, Pat. What if we selected all of the cold and flu items and selected with progressive insights? Are you saying that the screen is too small from the Genius? Certainly let me know. We want to make this better. We could certainly expand it. Maybe on the actual document itself, let me know. What if we selected all the cold and flu items and selected with progressive insights? You could definitely do that if you want to. It really depends on your style. Remember that this is energetic encoded information the person has to bring into their own field. It's interesting that we're sort of very, very slowly working through this. Remind your client, if you're slowly not reaching a rectification percentage, ask your client to drink more water. Ask every client that comes in to see you, drink a full glass of water, have mine somewhere, drink a full glass of water before we get started today. Find an electrolyte that works for you. Drink a little bit of electrolytes before your session, drink it after. And I have to phrase it a little bit like you're not directing them. You can say, have you ever heard of electrolytes? Is that something you would be okay with? It's your choice. Read about them, see if it works for you. Make sure you never, it seems like you're prescribing or telling that person to do something. You don't want to direct them. You want to suggest to them. Okay. Logged out, but can't see where to download the handout. So hopefully, Lisa, now you have them. Anonymous attendee says, are you saying the highs and lows? You're saying to do the highs and lows with the suggested protocol? Yes. Combine them. You could do one or the other. You could do just the protocol, or I call it a process, or you could combine. I think it makes the most sense to bring in the items from the immune system tonic, and then also some of the reds and blues that are coming up for the person. Best of both worlds. Okay, now this is an interesting thing. We're going down a little bit as we've gone through this. So when we got to 37%, let me see if I can get anything to help with this. We've got a little spotlight here. The spotlight, will that work? No. Will the arrow work? Here we go. Learning all of these. So if we go down here, I don't know if you noticed that we went to 37% rectification, and in the next minute it came down. So what that tells us is the 37% was as high as she will be able to go with these frequencies at this time. So it's better to just disengage and move on to something else. So she went down. That means these frequencies are no longer helpful to her in this particular sequence. It also may mean that she has that low vital force at this time, needs to drink some water, get some adrenal support, things like that. So these will help you. This is another very common question that comes through from your emails. Okay, so hopefully this helps. The thing that I would do as a practitioner now is go to the rescan. What does a rescan do? It takes into effect everything that you have been working on so far, everything that you've run for that person up to this moment. And then it says, based on those frequencies that you've run, let's go to a level that's deeper. And when it goes to a level that's deeper, it now tells us that iron is the highest priority frequency at this time. Then vitamin C, gynostemma. Look into gynostemma tea, look at the dragon herb site, fantastic site to learn about adrenals and vital force and Chinese tonic herbs. And gynostemma tea, real powerful, zinc, immune system, adrenal, respiratory, large. So we still see these common themes. She's working on adrenals, working on the immune system, asking for more frequencies in this particular area. Okay, the screen document is too small and you could be smaller. Oh, I don't know how I make myself smaller. So let's go ahead and we'll work on that for you. Work on changing my screen and so forth in the future for sure. So I think what it does is it relegates the screen. Let's make it the whole computer here. We'll work on that for you, Pat. Thanks for the feedback. And any other feedback that you have, let's see if I can make this go away. Unarrow it. Oh, you gotta love technology. Let's see if we can make that one. Okay, so let's see if we can now make this a little larger. Tell me if this improves or helps at all. Does that help at all? You won't be able to see the rectification percentage. So that's what we're talking about. So that's probably not going to work. Let's go ahead and bring it back up here so we can see it. So she went really back again to 37%. That's interesting. It gets into Beth Foley's. She really looks at all of those rectification percentages and would probably make something of the 3 and 7 and then the number 10, which I don't know that much about numerology, but it's interesting that she reverted back to that 37%. Out of curiosity, let's see if we do it one more time, if she actually goes low again and can't push through more than 37%. So let me know, did that help with the document size? Are you able to see that a little larger? Hopefully we can get you to download it. Let me know if that was helpful. All right, let's see where we are with the chat. You may be able to adjust your frame. I will look into that, become more of a master of the Zoom. Let's go ahead and if I actually stop the video, there we go. All right, so if I stop the video, did that make the whole screen? If I stopped my video screen, did that make it larger? Let me know. And a couple of things that we need to do here is, there we go. And there we go. Okay, a couple of little cleanup things that we needed to do there. Wonderful. Thank you, Adina, again for volunteering today. I really, really appreciate it. So she did actually go to, let's see what's going on in the chat here. Looks great to me. You have no picture, but the frame is good. If rectification, okay, we'll look at some of these in just a moment. Okay, so now we made everything a bit larger. Hopefully it's helpful. And so it brings us to 57%, and that's a great rectification. So if we were to peel the layer of the onion again, we could do another rescan. So if we did another rescan, now what comes up to the very top? Wow, iron. You know, as a naturopath, I would probably recommend at this point, hey, let's get a basic blood, something called a CBC done for you. It may show nothing, it may show something, because that's really interesting. And if you see that, and if you work in partnership with a healthcare practitioner, whether it be naturopath, doctor, chiropractor, it coming up 3 times in a row, that really gets my attention. So I would probably look at that. Then we also see vitamin A and C, that's for the immune system, parathyroid. So this this bone density piece, regulation of bone density came up over and over again. Then we see astragalus, silica, lymphatic cordyceps, connective tissue, repeatedly information communicated to us about the adrenals. So let's go back to the aura and let's see how the aura has changed. We probably could get one more volunteer in here. So if you want to volunteer, put your date of birth down below. And Adina, we really, really super appreciate you so much for volunteering today. If you want to volunteer, put a Q&A or in the chat and we can talk about it there. Lots and lots of events and classes coming up, including the research project we're doing on hormones. We're going to be meeting on Thursday, January 15th. If we got your test for that, if you got tested, your saliva, we're going to show the results and then we'll share them with the greater community to talk all about what the results of the Genius show. Do they show a correlation to actual labs? So we'll learn all about that from there. Okay, Vicki, you've been so busy helping other people. So in a moment, we're going to help you. and we'll bring you on, and then let's see if there are any remaining questions, if there are things that have improved here. All right. Okay. So thank you for your comments and your questions. We'll definitely look at them. Look at this amazing, let me just see if I can adjust this here. Look at this beautiful aura for Adina coming out at the end here. It looks absolutely fantastic. Adina, what a great response from the different frequencies. We really, really appreciate that. Okay, so Vicky, I hope this is the right Vicky. We're going to bring you up here, and we're going to invite you to be part of our class here in just a moment. See if that worked. Okay. All right, let's see if we can speak with Vicky. I don't know if that's working. There we go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Hi, Vicky. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Good. And thank you. Have you been the one putting everything into the chat?
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to copy and paste, and then, because a lot of people, I guess, were coming in after you had posted.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
And you can't necessarily see prior to, so.
Absolutely. If you want to share your camera feed, you're welcome to do that. Or if you don't want to, that's also fine.
Still working from home, so forgive my.
Okay, you're doing great. Oh my gosh,
see me?
thank you. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. When do you have your Genius, or are you still in the process of getting it?
Still in the process of getting it.
Okay, well, that's perfect. I'm so glad that you volunteered. That's great. We're going to get everything rolling for you in just a moment. So what do you think so far of what we've been working on?
It is so eye-opening for me. I love it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I love it.
What's your background? Are you just sort of like, oh, just curious about what biofeedback can do? Are you a practitioner?
No, just curious. I do go to a chiropractor here in Costa Mesa. I'm in California.
Oh, great.
And kinesiologist. So, every once a month I go as far as muscle testing, and she tests different things. And I don't have any major issues, but I know I'm not healthy.
Okay, fantastic. I'm so glad that you joined us today. Let's just quickly look, and can you see the difference here in the two aura screens?
I can, because that was amazing to me, because I went from that green, that is ridiculous.
A beautiful, beautiful result from Adina. So very, very exciting. Well, we're going to go back now to the main screen. And in the main screen, what we do here is we hit begin a new scan, and then we'll actually just put the last initial here, which is fine. That'll completely work. And then we enter the date of birth, which I know you put into the chat here. So we're going to do that. Just give me a moment to get all of this rolling correctly here. So we're going to put this. Okay, so we got that. And then we're going to go to your voice recording. So let's go ahead, and we're going to ask you to say, my name is, you'll say your name, and then the A-E-I-O-U. It does seem a little bit long because it's 15 seconds, but we're listening to your voice several times in order to get the most accurate, energetic information about you. Sound pretty good?
Okay.
All right, I'll start recording in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
My name is Vicky Woods, A-E-I-O-U. My name is Vicky Woods, A-E-I-O-U. My name is Vicky Woods, A-E-I-O-U. You
did fantastic. And usually what people say is, I probably didn't explain as well as I could, is they just keep repeating the vowels over and over and over again for 50 seconds. But there's actually nothing wrong with what you did. It's perfect. And you could really say anything. You could say an affirmation during that 15 seconds. It's completely up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, but you did great. And I'm just going to turn my video feed off for a moment here so I don't end up in the picture. And then we're going to be on the live feed here. Now, this is a way that you could actually work with your own clients. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. So if you ended up having clients, or you wanted to work with family via a Zoom, this is a way that you could do that. So we'll go ahead and get that. And oh, that was like a great picture. Okay, fantastic. Wonderful. So now we can get that. What we're doing is, your picture has all types of energetic information in it. And so we're utilizing that energetic information in our scan. And you said you went to a chiropractor that would bring in, would do muscle testing, right?
Yes, yes.
And so the muscle testing, this is like able to muscle test and muscle test and muscle test, like many muscle tests at one time. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's what I was, well, earlier, that's what I was, now I was, seeing it like, okay, this brings up so much more versus the number of times I would have to go, for her to ask, like you're saying, as far as all the minerals and everything that I probably need.
I think we never say that it's an actual lab test or that you would correlate it to labs, but I think you get the picture after a while, because so many of these scans come up for me, so similar to what I would see for my patients, just doing this for so many years now. And we kind of lost your video feed, but Vicki, thank you so much.
Oh, wait, did you? Okay.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Sorry. Okay.
But I want to thank you for volunteering, and look at your aura. Have you been using some Genius frequencies on yourself?
No.
Well, your aura is just naturally fantastic. It looks really, really great. We like to see those beautiful purple colors usually at the end of the session, but you're starting off with it. Do you do any like spiritual practice, meditation, yoga, anything like that?
The 3 things I just wrote down over the weekend that I need to stick with. You mentioned one of the herbs that helped with sort of like going around in circles. Like, I'm tired of starting, restarting, like, oh yeah, I'm going to do yoga. Okay. Easier said than done. I'll do it like twice and then I'm done, but I do some chanting, and I'm chanting more often now.
I think it's showing up in that aura. I really, really do. All of your words, all of your thoughts, whatever you're running for frequencies, like all of those things comprise what your aura looks like. And so whatever you're doing, something is really working for you. So keep on doing that.
Will do. Okay.
And you said there was nothing in particular, not too much that you're working on. So you want us to do some general wellness for you and just sort of see what we see here?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, I'm going to let you go here, but we'll bring you back in just a little bit as we go through your session, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Vicki. I really appreciate it. And really fun to have you. And it's always fun to have someone who maybe has never had a scan before, or even is just contemplating getting their Genius. So thank you so much. And thanks again for linking things. That was really helpful. All right, so let's start the whole process again and go through the immune tonic. Give me some feedback. Let me know if you can see this a little bit better. If you see the document, just give me some feedback on that. If you're watching on the live stream, well, leave a comment down below. Remember to like and share this. I think having it on the YouTube stream live is going to be instrumental for you sharing with people that you may want to have join our Genius community. You can just hit that share button and say, hey, they're live streaming every Monday, you can watch from YouTube. So definitely, hit that notification so to remind you that we start every Monday at 9 o'clock Pacific, 12 o'clock Eastern time. Okay, so what do we do first? We go to today's stress. We're just going to explore this, learn about it. Ooh, acidity at 777. This is really helpful because it reminds me that 777 is the highest number that we can go on the Genius. So 777 is the top number on the scale that the developer chose, because 777 is a very divine number. So it's meaningful when you see it. It's the highest that you can go. So the thing that will help you to continue to have great wellness, which you already have, is some alkalizing, some green juices, utilizing the different things we know that are great for alkalizing. Karen McDonald talked about the suedehills.com, right? SUEDE Hills, HILLS.com, or any alfalfa, wheatgrass, green juices, anything will help you to alkalize, will help everything to work better, help you to detox. Interesting connective tissue coming up again here in this scan for her, different scan now. Cardiovascular does not mean cardiovascular like, oh my gosh. It could mean we need to work out a little bit more. We need to be a little bit more active. It could mean maybe we didn't sleep as well. So maybe we have like a little bit of a wiry pulse if we measured it in Chinese medicine terms. So it's just something to pay attention to. And certainly it's a frequency we would want to balance for today. Kidneys could be, we need to be better hydrated, need to eat not such a high protein diet. Again, the immune system. Bacteria, this could be underlying bacteria that our immune system has not been strong enough to sort of push out. Now we can go to today's stress on the document itself, and we would want to also bring in liver. We would also want to bring in inflammation to work on that inflammatory response. And we'd also want to bring in the lymphatic. Even though they are not exactly out of balance, they're in balance, but we're using them with intention. Okay. All right. So I love that people are giving people help in using their Zoom so they can adjust the size of their screen, adjust the size of the picture. Everyone can actually drag in the Genius to make it larger, and then you can actually shrink my screen to make my appearance smaller. So whatever you need to do, maybe try those Zoom controls, and we'll all become experts at using Zoom. I love it. Now we're going to go to body systems, and we'll look at cold and flu just for fun on this one. So let's go to body systems. It's the same thing, body systems. So reproductive is going to be more like hormonal. So it could be anything to do with estrogen, progesterone, things like that. And then integumentary skin. The skin is an interesting thing to consider. If the skin is blocked, not as many toxins can get out. The integumentary, it may indicate we need to sweat more. We need to skin brush, or we may see indications on the skin of poor circulation. So if we have cold hands and feet and things like that, the circulation is not as optimized. We might be able to pair that together with where we saw circulatory come up in today's stress. So you want to look for patterns. Everyone can do this. You can get some basic training in health. We have that in our practitioner levels 1 through 8. And you can use common sense and start to use your natural abilities to put patterns together. That's what really makes the difference. If you're by nature sort of a detective, an investigator, you like to get to the root cause of things, that would be something that you can do with a Genius. Let's see if we can get this other document up here. So let's sort of clean some things up here. So we have that cold and flu. It does actually go with the cold and flu libraries, but everybody gets this for free. So if you want to incorporate it in other ways today, you're welcome to do that. See if we can get this lined up here. And this tells you all about some of the basics of cold and flu. It gives you some basic things from the Genius. We've already mentioned a lot of them. Let's go ahead and do this. Okay, we're going to look at cold and flu. No, she doesn't have cold and flu, but could you use cold and flu as a way to build up the immune system? Let's look at cold and flu disturbance. So it says, so interesting, it's giving us one of the flu virus names. Does that mean she has it? No, but it might mean she had it at one time. She still has the cellular imprint, or, it might be, viruses, the thing to remember, the most important thing to remember with all viruses, fungus, bacteria, parasites, is part of it is about being in balance. So when you get sick, what part of your life was not in balance? What part of your energy field was not in balance? Because the truth is that every single day we live with viruses, bacteria. Some are positive bacteria, some negative bacteria, some candida, fungus, parasites. But as long as our body is in harmony, we're actually in harmony with them. So anything like a flu virus, it could still be hanging around in very, very small quantities, controlled by our immune system. So understand that may not be something that's active at this time, maybe something from the past. Excess sugar root cause. Now, what's interesting about that is it was just the holidays. So could it be possible that your client had some excess sugar in their, in their celebrations? And then we see low vitamin C. So this is really helpful, even though it's not the particular issue that she's working on. We see nasal passages. This may be telling her this is a good time to use a neti pot or do some yogic breathing exercises. We go down to the low ones. Acute coryza, these are actually symptomatic. This would be like runny nose, is coryza. Nasopharyngitis, coronaviruses. You guys, we're seeing that on here, but that doesn't have to be the thing. Those coronaviruses were in every single book every single text on medicine for forever. It used to be known as the common cold. Cold and flu, the solutions. So this could be solutions for just feeling a little bit run down. Myrrh, mullein, lemon essential oil, again, good for the liver. Go down to the bottom here. Rose hips. Okay, one thing we've learned right away, remember, not a diagnosis, but look at this. Rose hips. What is the #1 vitamin that you get from rose hips? Vitamin C. Let's go back to the videotape here. Cold and flu. What do we see in red? Low vitamin C. That is where the magic is. It's when you, being the brilliant genius practitioner that you are, start to put 2 and 2 together, see the echoes of the patterns. It's going to be no accident that you see this occur over and over and over again. It gives you that level of confidence that, hey, maybe there's something going on here. Maybe there's something to this. So it's interesting. We see that same flu virus up here on another library, which is the number 3, the Flu Disturbance assessment. And then we see some other ones. So this may be something that's in the field, maybe something that's in the cellular memory. She may have suffered with the flu in the past at some time. We're just still seeing the remnants of that, encouraging us, to clear it, get rid of it, clear it from the system completely. And then we see solutions here. Hyssop, look into hyssop as an herb for the immune system. Really powerful, incredible herb for the immune system. And they have it here as an essential oil as well. Baptisia. Baptisia is usually something that people use when they have active flu. It's just you feel run down, you don't feel good. And then zinc, obviously very, very good for the immune system. Oscillococcinum, if you're not hip to that, really something that I would have in every, you have little things that you keep, your NyQuil and so forth in your little medicine cabinet. Every household, keep oscillococcinum, excellent for the FLU. I don't know if we're allowed to see things like that, but you know what I'm talking about. I mean, this is the kind of thing, I remember learning about it in naturopathic school. I got a little bit sick. I took the oscillococcinum. It was gone in hours. Never got the onset of that particular thing that we're talking about. So something to consider to have in your wheelhouse. I also want to call your attention as we're on this topic to the immune resilience libraries. So really excellent. We went through these way back in the beginning of the, let's just call it, you know how they call P. Diddy, let's call it the P-demic. So, you know what I'm talking about, way back in the beginning, actually in March of 2020, we talked all about, we did these videos that are still on my YouTube channel about immune resilience. We did about 4 in the series, and we talked about these libraries that are really good for any aspect of the immune system. You know, there may have been a V, you know, I'm talking about for a virus, but there's so many different ways to go about dealing with a virus. So that's probably not very masking that word. Okay, so vitamin D, 10,000. So that will tell us that the client maybe is low in vitamin D. We don't make any conclusions, but it's giving us hints. We can always verify it with a lab test, right? But isn't that interesting that we just talked about vitamin D, chelidonium, this is for the liver, Ali Ultras, garlic capsules, spring water, maybe hydrate better. We saw the kidneys, right, come up. Zinc aspartate, echinacea, macrophages, vitamin C, 50 grams. Now, we wouldn't take 50 grams, but what biofeedback can tell us is maybe energetically her system would really love 50 grams. We wouldn't give it except for IV, and it would be a lot of vitamin C, right? You'd need a doctor to approve that, but we could give it energetically, go right to the frequency effect immediately. All right, let's go ahead and let's get some flower essences in the mix here because we're getting up against the top of the hour. Actually, we're well over. We'll go ahead and summarize up in just a moment and go ahead and put the blues in there. Let's go ahead and see what comes to the top of Progressive Insights. And wow, interesting, acute coryza. So that is something we would probably just discard, but maybe it's something that happens to her every time she gets sick. Maybe she has allergies. This is more of the coryza, is more of the runny nose. Immune system suppressed. And so we saw that low vitamin C. So that goes hand in hand. Liver, lymphatic, echinacea. She probably doesn't need it right now, but it might be a good remedy if she did get sick. Integumentary, degeneration, acid, connective tissue, nasal passages. So this might be something that's affected every time that she does get sick. It might be her nasal passages are the place of least resistance. Okay. All right. So note, chat open. All right, and raise, I don't know what it says here. Yeah, the chat's open for everyone. Raise hands and other options are open. I'm not really sure what that means. All right, so we've got everybody teaching everybody about Zoom. I absolutely love it. Looks like, Pat, you were able to master that, but you can put anything in the chat that you want. You can put questions into the question area. We'll look into the sermon. You know, I believe that sermon we'll talk more about the sermon in the future, Sally. Thank you so much. And yes, Kathy, that should be geranium, not, you're right. I always confuse those two. Geranium is let me look on the library, because germanium is a supplement you can take, very good for the C word, C answer, if you know what that is, and then geranium. So we'll correct it if it needs correcting. I always mix up the two. So very, very good. Thank you for that. Let's take any final questions, anything that you have. Remember, we have coming up the business membership. The next meeting was going to be on January 12th. For those of you who are in the hormonal study, that is coming up on January 13th. We're going to talk all about the results and some education about the hormones. Yes, you can participate. If you weren't part of doing the lab test, you can get in touch with me to talk about that. We're going to have a course on the basics of energy medicine. What is the biofield? What are frequencies? What is a Hertz frequency? What is a Rife frequency? We're going to have a course on that coming up. And let's just go one more minute here for any final questions. We're also going to have a process class, which is going to be how do you achieve what you want in your practice. So lots and lots of great courses coming up. Of course, we're going to have our weekly class every Monday, so be sure to invite friends. And now you can watch it stream live on YouTube. After the stream is over, you'll be able to immediately see the replay. So you don't have to wait at all now. You can just subscribe to the YouTube channel, go and watch the replay. On the YouTube channel, we're going to be uploading many more tutorials. There's been a great deal of requests for remedy plate tutorials. So we're going to do some remedy plate videos uploaded to the YouTube channel as well. Let's see if we can get are there any final questions, any burning questions? We are going to have a new version of the Genius coming out very, very soon. It's going to be in the form of an update that the developer's putting out. There's going to be some changes to the main, like the custom libraries area, that's going to help you to organize libraries better, help you to search for them better. We're improving the voice engine. Just, you know how the developer, Ryan Williams, is so talented, gifted, and he is been in the laboratory doing his thing. So we're going to see great improvements to the Genius coming up, and everybody gets that at no additional charge, which is amazing. So as he sort of breaks down new areas that can be improved in the Genius, he brings all of those great updates to every single person in the community, no matter how long you've had the Genius. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. So this is interesting. And it seems like what we're doing is this is a reset. So we're stopping where we are. We're getting into present moment, and we've just completely reset the energy. When I see this, and I want to actually sort of get a little bit more juiciness with the aura, I'll do something you've all seen before, which is we'll go ahead and put all of the solfeggios, all the reds, yellows, greens, and blues into the tray. And for that client, I'll run it for a minute and then look at their aura afterwards. Okay, so we're not making a prescription, but you can look up and research for yourself acylcoccinum. So if you want to look up acylcoccinum, that would be something I could imagine wouldn't be very easy to pick up verbally. So yeah, acylcoccinum. It's homeopathic FLU, so you could check it out there. We're here every Monday. Thank you, everyone, for being part of our Genius community and being part of our very first launch of our live Zoom live stream to YouTube today for the weekly class. And we'll be back again next Monday. Take care, everyone. Be well. Bye-bye for now.